Good morning, everybody. Cindy Utter with my artsy endeavors. How are we doing this morning? I'm doing pretty good. It is time for my July explorations of me. I'm sure you all recognize this journal by now. This I just had on here. I just thought this was really cool. It says she designed a life she loved. And I found this, actually it was like on an old calendar page or new calendar page, I'm not sure, but I cut it out and I just really like that saying. She designed a life she loved. And you know, really when you think about it, that's what we're doing, is we're designing our lives, right? So anyways, we are going to talk about today hobbies. You know what? I've gotten out the yellow, the green, and the orange. Hey, let's start with this page. I would say this was a possible failure because I see a bunch of journaling and I see a bunch of what do you call it, texture paste on here, so that's alright. We're just going to play around. I am going to, even though I've got the green, I think I contaminated my gesso. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of gesso on here, just something to break it up a little bit, maybe give it some, I don't know, some white. Gonna play. This is, you know, I've seen a lot of people using these, and one thing I've noticed, this one is really hard, so I'm not sure this is going to be the best one to use. I don't even know where I got this, maybe dollar store or who knows, but I really like the idea of using these. Ooh, look, we can see the flower. There's a flower there. I like the idea of just being able to use one of these things. Thingamabobbies. Alright, so we're going to talk about hobbies today. Haha. We are the creative souls, right? Who has not done many, many, many hobbies? I know I've found as I grow over time, my interests change. They change in hobbies, they change in styles of movies, of course they change in clothes. There's all these different ways that your styles or you know, things change, right? So why wouldn't hobbies? They should, right? At least I think they should. Alright, I have to get this Dylusion paint open. This is the only thing, Diane Reevely, I love you dearly, I love your colors, but these are a pain in the butt to get open. Hold on just a minute, let me, oh, I got it. Yes, I know, I've got to put Vaseline around the edges, but I don't think about that stuff when I'm busy. So, alright, we're going to grab some of this Dylusions paint, and I'm just going to keep using this thing. I want it kind of random. Random. So, hobbies, how many have you had? If you're a creative soul, which you most likely are since you're watching this video, you've had many, multiple, right? I know I have. I've had lots and lots and lots of hobbies. And we're going to go through them today. And we're going to talk about them, tell you what I did or did not like about them. But before we do that, I'm going to dry this up really well. And then I'm going to do a little bit of journaling on here. And basically I'm going to talk to myself about those hobbies. Ugh. And before I dry it up, I want to add some of this orange. I have to. It's got to go on here. I want some bright orange. This don't look bright right now. That's better. Just want some orange, some color. Gotta have color. It's all about the colors. You know what? I kind of like using this thing. This thing's pretty cool to use, actually. You can make it look worn out. You can make it look, oh, pretty neat. Alright, I like that. So let me go ahead. I'm going to, like I said, dry this up really good. I'm going to do a little bit of journaling and then we'll be right back. Alright, so I've dried it quite a bit. It's still a little bit tacky here and there, but I decided before I do any journaling or anything, I want more on this background. So I've pulled out these two stencils. This is a Dylusions by Diane Reevely. This one's a Tim Holtz. But what I'm going to do, I pulled out the little bit darker green from the Dylusion paints, And I'm actually gonna, I've never done this with a sponge brush before, but I'm gonna try it. So let's see what happens. Basically, I want to put some kind of a little, I love it. Here comes my sound effects again. I make myself laugh. So what I'm going to do is just throw down some, I don't want it huge, I don't want it, just want something there. Yeah, it's better. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Same thing. Come on. Sit down there. Yeah, I like that. Just gives it a little bit more of that oomph. Oomph, oomph, oomph. Okay. So, that's down the sides. So that makes me happy. And I'm going to take what's left on here, because I've got this paint on the other side. And I'm just going to spotty. Oh, that works. No big deal. We're just taking off the paint. Okay. So it's just got a little bit of but that's okay. Alright. So let me move this. It's in my way. I got so much stuff sitting here on my desk. Again, I have this little area to create in. Alright, so we're talking about hobbies, and I don't like doing that with this brush, so we're not going to do that again. I need just one of my little brushes that I use. Where are you? Huh, hold on a second. Ugh, right in front of my face, really? Anyways. So we're talking about hobbies. Now, have you noticed throughout your journey with hobbies that things have changed? I know I sure have. Like I said, whether it's my style or the hobby that I enjoy, or any of it, all throughout the years, it's always changing. Always changing. Alright, I like that green. I still want something else to make this pop, pop, pop. I want some more white. So I'm going to take the gesso, grab another sponge, and we're going to do some white. Let's do some white. Oops. You have more gesso than that, I think. So when you think back at your hobbies, why did you do them? I can tell you why I did mine. The job I was working for the last 23 years was quite stressful. I needed an outlet. I needed somewhere to come home and just not think, if that makes sense. So that's why 90% of the time why I did my hobbies. I can't just come home and just sit and be idle. That drives me insane. I feel like I'm being lazy when I do that. So I would always come home and had some type of a hobby. Sometimes it was hobbies like, you know, riding my motorcycle, or going to street rod shows with my husband, or things like that. But the hobbies that I'm going to talk about today are the hobbies that I did when I just needed to step back. I needed a little bit of just me time. Just me time. So what I used them for is to reduce the anxiety, to reduce the stress, to cope with life so that I wasn't constantly depressed. Things like that, okay? Just let me lay this in here for now. Actually, we're just going to go like this. I just want to get some of this paint off here. I know it's still on the other side. There we go. Alright. So to cope with stress, anxiety, that was the reasons that I did it. Let me dry this up real quick, and then we're gonna start putting some of my hobbies down, and I'm gonna do some journaling around the hobbies per se. So let me dry this up. Alright, so I didn't really want to sit here and draw all of my hobbies. So what I did is I actually printed a bunch of stuff out. This is the most current hobby. Of course, is the mixed media. Crocheting. This is something oh, excuse me, that's knitting. Crocheting. This is something I still do. I like to crochet mostly in the wintertime because what I like to crochet are Afghans, and it's great because I can put them on my lap and stay warm yet be productive. So crocheting I still do. I enjoy doing it. I can crochet patterns. I prefer not to. I prefer to crochet my own way, but that's just me. This is another hobby, which I still have to fix this, is reading. I love to read. I just love it. I read every night before I go to bed. So I really enjoy that. A current hobby that we have right now is I do have my fish tank up and running again, and we have Oscars. We have 2 Oscars. We call them Punk and Patsy. This one is the one that looks just like Patsy. I didn't print out the real pictures. I just, whatever. So these are the current hobbies. Oh, nope, there's more. This I liked. I pulled it up on the internet, and it's just music. All right? I consider music a hobby, and I love all kinds of music with the exception of rap. I can't do that. And a lot of the new pop, I'm more into country, jazz, classical, relaxation, soothing, that type of music. Or rock and roll, old-time rock and roll. So this is my music. That's for that hobby. This is a current hobby, which is journaling. Normally before I go to bed at night, I journal and I read. I get a lot of stuff off my mind this way, and it gives me the ability to go to sleep. If I don't do one of these 2 things, I lay down in bed and my mind just goes around and around and around, and it just doesn't stop. So this is a very good habit, hobby that I've gotten into, and I'm really happy I'm still doing that. So that's journaling. This is another hobby I do. This is card making. These were actually Christmas cards from, I don't know, a couple of years ago. I still do make cards. I enjoy making cards. I enjoy doing paper crafting. I also scrapbook. That is still a current hobby. I don't do it as much as I probably should, but I'm having fun with it, and that's all that matters, right? This is, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this is an old hobby. This is stained glass. This is when I had my stained glass in a shop. See this canvas right here? That is the first mixed media canvas I have ever done, and that one sold. This was years ago. This was actually before I got hurt at work, and this came from the video that inspired this was Christy Tomlinson, and it was a she-girl. So that's my very first mixed media, so I'm really glad I have a picture of that. Again, this was in one of the shops I was in. Another thing I did is I made stained glass jewelry. I have a kiln. I did a lot of fusing, made a lot of these bracelets and sold those. Just pendants, plain glass. These are keychains. These are pendants, bookmarks. These were mirrors. With stained glass on the back of them. But yeah, this was the old hobbies, okay? This was also something I do know how to do. This is knitting. I know how to knit. I like the process of it. I hate the fact that it takes so long to see any accomplishment. So yes, do I know how to knit? Yeah, I could knit if I have to. Yeah, I'm not. It takes too long. It just takes way too long. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, these are just, like I said, some of the hobbies. At one point I was also into making dolls. I want to cut some of this out. Let's start here. I used to make these pyramids. These were really cool. And they were full of, like, one was full of buttons for sewing, buttons and little things of, little pieces of, or little spools of thread, that kind of stuff. Had different hobbies for them. They were neat. Alright, so I'm just going to cut a lot of this down because we don't need all of it. I want to keep that mixed media piece. I think that's really cool. Alright, so let's start figuring out what we're going to do with these. Alright, we're going to start here with this one. This, I really don't need all of it, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out pieces of it. So here's a couple bracelets. Now I have to give credit to a friend. She taught me how to do this. She taught me the stained glass. She actually talked me into getting into a shop and selling the stained glass, which I never thought would happen, but it did. So thank you for that. Alright, so there's the stained glass. This is card making. We don't have to have 1,200 cards in our picture, right? Just a couple will do fine, so let's just go like this. Let's cut it right here. Cut off the top of this. Cut off the side of this. See? There we go. Card making. Alright, music. This, I'm going to use some paints and mess around around some of these. For example, this one, because there's just too much white. Not in the mood for white space today. I got to spend yesterday with my second granddaughter, Miss Nora. Oh my gosh, what a pleasure she is. You know, both my granddaughters, I'm so very lucky because Haley's grandma's girl, no doubt about it, and Miss Nora is just so sweet. She's going to be 1 year old on July 27th, and she's almost walking. She'll come over and she'll stand up by the coffee table, and she just was great. She was a lot of fun yesterday, so we had to go outside on the swing and just had fun. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of cutting these down because I don't want so much that you can't see the page. This one I've got a fussy cut. Alright, that's a current one. This is current. I'm actually in the process of making a king-size quilt for my bed, and it's going to be all done in scraps. And it's all done with double crochets. So it's going to take a while to do that one. These are our fishies. We used to have tanks of live bearers. And if you know what that means, basically it's fish that'll breed and you end up with all these little babies. Well, this time we've decided, no, we don't really want the live bearers, so we ended up just getting a couple Oscars. I actually had my tank shut down for several years, but we decided to get a couple Oscars, and they're okay. I don't think they're as much fun as the live bearers, but they work. Alright, now I have, just kind of getting an idea here of how I want to lay these out. And like I said, I'm going to do some journaling around these. But, you know, I'm not going to get all this. I'm not going to get real fussy with this. I'm just going to take out most of the white. Right? Just not getting real fussy with it. Alright. Just not getting fussy. So, anyways, another hobby that I used to do, and I haven't done in forever, is I used to make these little dolls. And what I did is I would start with a 1x1 little block of wood, and I would put a head on it, and then I would dress it all up in these clothes made from fabric, and I would sew them all together, and then I would embellish them with buttons and bows and that kind of stuff. And I don't have any pictures of them. I'm not quite sure why, but I don't. And they were a lot of fun to do too. So for this month, like I said, hobbies. What are we gonna? What hobbies do you do? Why do you do them? I gotta get my matte gel. Hold on. Here we go. Do you still have a lot of hobbies, like most of us do? I know I still have more than I need. I probably could do, you know, with 6 less of them. But the hobbies are there. They're fun. They're a way to express yourself. I mean, you could have a hobby just of flower gardening, and that's also something I used to do. And that was prior to messing up my back. But you know, that's a hobby. You could have cooking as a hobby, right? Anything where you are allowing yourself to be creative. You may have a hobby of collecting CDs, okay? You can be creative, you can, you know, anything. Hobbies are something that you do because you enjoy it. I'm not sure why this is not staying down. Stay down. I think it has to do with the texture that's under it. Come on, stay down. Come on. It's going to stay down. Alright, well, we're going to put a coat over it anyways, so. Alright, so let's keep doing this. Alright, so we're talking about the hobbies. What hobbies do you have? What do you do? What do you enjoy doing? Do you, you know, you could have a hobby where you go yard sailing. You know, that's a hobby. If you do something that you enjoy, and it's not work or a business, or it's considered a hobby. Okay, you need to stay down too. I'm not sure why. I really think it's the texture that's in the bottom of this, underneath this. I'm just going to cover over it again. Okay. These bracelets were really fun to make. I still have a couple of them that I made. I made this beautiful. I'm so upset. It actually sold. I made this beautiful angel. And red glass is very expensive, and it's hard to find. Not really hard to find, but it's very expensive. And I had found this one piece of red glass, and I made this beautiful angel out of it. And I ended up taking it into the shop because I needed to fill space. I really didn't want it to sell, so I put this really high price tag on it. It sold. I was so upset. I'm like, darn it. So lesson learned. If you're doing a hobby and you make something or do something you really, really like, don't sell it. And I never found another piece of that glass, and it was bummered. I was bummed. Somebody got an absolutely gorgeous angel. Whoops. Come on. Again, this has got texture underneath it, and I think that's why I'm having the problem with them staying down. Come on. Yeah. Stay! It will eventually. Okay. Knitting. Ugh. It's very meditative to knit. But man, it just takes forever to make anything. I hated it. I'm like, I've been doing this for an hour and I see 6 stitches. But yeah, so knitting's not my thing. I like instant gratification. Alright, so journaling. I'll put that right here. Again, this is something I still do. And it's a good thing I do. Oops. Just gotta go down a little bit more. Do. So, I hope you guys are having fun with your explorations of me. Gina and I are really enjoying doing this. You know, we're learning about ourselves, you know, as well as hopefully helping you learn about yourselves. And it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I like to do explorations of me more than like a negativity smackdown, because usually when I have to do a negativity smackdown, I'm just not a happy camper. So, you know, it's fun to do this explorations of me. As most of you know, I also have another video series going called My Story, and that is actually my journey with chronic pain. So that one's gonna take a while. It's not on any schedule or that kind of thing, but it's out there, so. Okay. So we have our crocheting, we have our fishies. There's just something really satisfying about gluing stuff down, you know what? It's so much fun. And I'm going to keep mixed media down here again because that is my love at this point. I love playing with mixed media. Alright, let's dry this up real quick and we'll be right back. Alright, so I've done quite a bit of drying, but I'm still having problems with some of this sticking down. So I've got this washi tape here. It says Happy Days. So we're just going to throw some of this down just to keep this stuff in here. And really, when you play with your hobby, isn't it a happy day? Mine are. Alright, so we're going to keep that one down like that. These are fine. These, run this across the top here. Like I said, this just says Happy Days. So, perfect. I'll put you here. This little piece here. It's funny because you really can't tell it's on there. Huh. Perfect color. Alright. There we go. Okay, really shouldn't put it on upside down, huh? Alright, so those pictures are on there. These are all good. But just because I can, I'm going to put some of this over here. Like I said, it just says Happy Days on it. Just throw some around here. Okay. Alright. Now, since we are pretty dry, you know what? I'm just going to put a real light coat on over this washi tape just to keep it down there. Then we're going to dry it up again, and then we're going to do some journaling. Journaling, doodling, having fun. Alright. So just to make sure that that stays down there too. Alright, let's dry her up and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got a few pens out here. I've got a Posca and I've got the Sharpie pen, which I love this pen. Thank you, Gina, for recommending that. And then I have a Uniball Signo, or just Uniball. Yeah, Uniball Signo. For some reason. And I'm just going to play around. We're just going to do some doodling. So one of the things that I was saying is, you know, your hobbies, they don't have to be... I think some people look at a hobby as like, oh my God, I've got to do it and get it done. A hobby is something you enjoy working on. or just something you enjoy doing. And use those hobbies to take down some of that stress from work. And to, you know, or if you have stress in your family, maybe you're taking care of an elderly parent and you just need to get away from it all. Use that hobby as an outlet, right? That's what they're for. You know, and don't let that hobby get you down. Don't make it into a job. It's not what hobbies are for. I know I've had so many people say, oh, you could do this with your mixed media, you could do that. Yeah, I probably could. Do I want to? No, because, you know, I'm not liking those pens. But anyways, do I want to? No, because I don't want it to be a job. Alright, so now I'm going to do a little bit of journaling here. This is my stained glass, and this I enjoyed doing. It was hard work, but the gratification was fantastic. It was hard work, but fun. Unfortunately, I can no longer do this. I probably could do some of the kiln work, but the actual stained glass with the cutting, the grinding, all of that, it's just too much. So that's something I don't do anymore. I'm slowly working about getting rid of my studio. I haven't done it yet. I have an entire stained glass studio down in the basement, and it's just something, one of these days it'll hit me and it'll go bye-bye. So that's my stained glass. Music. Love music. Okay, I will always love my music. Come on. Come on, I must have written on some wet paint. Ugh, let me get a different pen. Alright, this one I just pulled out of my drawer. This one is a UGG 120, UGG 120. And it says, Right Dudes, UGG 120, 0.7 millimeters. That's what this one is. Alright, so always love music. It's good for the soul. Okay, knitting. No! Not enough patience. But it was fun. Just, no. I like the outcome. I love the way the stitches and stuff are. I just can't do that. Card making. I enjoy card making. I still make cards. I actually have boxes of cards that I've made. And sometimes I send them out, sometimes I don't. But it's just, it's fun. Making cards is fun. I'm just kind of outlining my cards here. Enjoy. I'll put still enjoy. I still enjoy card making. Journaling. Journaling is a must. Journaling is a daily habit. It's funny, here a while back I decided that I didn't feel like journaling anymore. So I just set my journal aside, and for about 2 months I didn't journal. I just kind of wung my life, I guess. And one night I was trying to get to sleep and my head was just spinning. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. I grabbed my journal. I spent 3 hours just getting it all out, and shut off the light, and boom, out like a light. So journaling, I found, is a very therapeutic thing for me to do. If you have, you know, some people don't journal because they're afraid somebody else is going to see it, or they don't feel comfortable putting in writing what they're feeling or what they're thinking. When I first started journaling, it was more of a, oh, I think today, you know, I went to the grocery store, I went over here, I went there, blah, 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 blah. And as I journaled more and more and more, I learned that a journal, for me, is a safe place to put down all that I'm feeling and everything that's happening and the emotions and whatever, the frustrations or whatever it may be. Put it all down. Yeah, I just picked this up off my desk. It's just washi tape, and it says, "Make today amazing." Yeah, I think that needs that on there. We're going to do it here too. Yeah. Make today amazing. Let's put you here. Why not? I don't know about you, but I have an amazing day when I play with my hobbies. I enjoy it. Alright. So we put that down. So anyways, journaling is something that I will do. I will continue to do. I have many, many full journals. Some of them are Smashbook journals. Some of them are just nothing but writing. Some of them I've scribbled in. I've drawn sketches in. There's just so much you can do with a journal. And you don't have to have a really expensive journal. I've used composition notebooks. I've used just plain old college ruled notebooks or school ruled notebooks. I've used fancy journals. I've used bound little notebooks that you're just supposed to write in, you know, notes in, that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. You can journal any way, anywhere, anyhow you want to. Crocheting. Crocheting for me is, again, it's almost kind of like a meditative style. I am working on my king size quilt. It's not a quilt. My king Afghan. And it's being done with scraps, so, and that sucker is going to be so heavy. But it's huge, and I love it so far. So far I've got about 4 foot of it done. I've got a long ways to go. But again, that I'll pick back up again in the winter. It's just too hot to do that in the summer. Reading, always. Right now I have 4 books going. Depending on the mood is depending on what I want to read. So reading, again, pretty much is a daily habit for me. I enjoy reading. I love anything from Stephen King to spiritual angel books. So I have a variety of books that I read. I love murder mysteries. You know, I'm not a huge, I don't do like romance and chick flick type stuff. That's just not me. So, but I love my books. Love, love, love. So let's just put a little heart here. And a heart here. And a heart here. So I enjoy reading. Another hobby. If I have a pain management day when it's really, really bad, sometimes it's hard to get into the reading. But if I lay on the couch instead of feeling like I'm doing nothing or not wanting to watch Netflix or that type of thing, I'll go ahead and I'll get some books out and I'll read. Fishies. Fishies is just a lot of fun. My mom has always had aquariums off and on throughout the years, and it's just something that, you know, I kind of picked up from her to do, and I enjoy the fishies. Sometimes they're a pain in the butt to clean the tanks and that kind of stuff, but, you know, gotta enjoy. I like my fishies. So, there's the fishies. They're okay. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Mixed media. I don't need to say anymore. This has got my heart right now. I love my mixed media. I have so much fun. I enjoy sharing it with you guys. It's just, it makes life good. Really makes life good. So, I think I'm about done. I'm just having fun playing here. I'm about done with this. So for this month, July, we're looking at hobby or favorite pastime. Again, it could be anything. I really can't wait to see what your hobbies or your favorite pastimes are. One thing to remember when you do a hobby, like I said, it's not a job. A hobby is something that it talks to you, it tells you, oh, I want to do more of this, and it's fun, it's uplifting, it makes you happy, it helps you to cope with stress and anxiety and depression. And remember, it's a journey. Any hobby is a journey. The first time I did stained glass, I think I used a pound of solder on the one little piece I made. But it's a journey. You have to learn and you have to grow every time. So enjoy your hobbies. As always, check out Gina Aaron's video for this month, for July, and check out and see what her hobbies are and how she presents them for you. As always, have fun. That's what life's all about. And happy creating. We'll talk to you soon. See you next month. Bye.